Hey there, guys. Welcome to another episode of the MH Performance Podcast. And my God, it is very, very sunny. Beautiful. But anyway, we're going to be talking about if in doubt, get strong. And the reason why this episode is coming to you today is because when I'm starting with a brand new client, like a lot of the time, my aim is to get them strong, regardless of their goals, whether their actual goal is to get strong, whether their goal is to improve in sports performance, whether their goal is to lose a little bit of body fat and just move a little bit better. I really do think that strength is the foundation to any goal and stuff. And it is shown on multiple studies that if you improve your levels of strength, a lot of other qualities are a lot easier to build. Sprinting, jumping, changing direction, and power, and all the trends that improve when maximal strength improves. And not only that, from even like a standpoint of health and all that, like if you're a lot stronger, everything just becomes a hell of a lot easier. Like when you pick 5 bags from the boots and your missus comes up to you saying, "Do you need a hand?" You go, "Oh, no, I've got this." And you carry them all in there. It just makes a life easier. I don't know why that suggestion just came up there, but hey, we're going with it. So I think strength can carry you a lot of the way when it comes to your goals. Yes, there are general strength, and we'll get into all stuff like this as well, but there's also specific strength that maybe not determines, but is necessary for things like sports performance and stuff like that as well. Now, let's talk it from the side of sports performance. Now, most sports, if not all sports, has a strength component to it. And I'm not talking about the ability to pick up a really heavy barbell and put that down. Obviously, that is an indication of strength. That's not necessarily strength. Strength, in my opinion, is a skill. So, depending on whatever the task is, you need to be strong in that task, if that makes sense. But let's go back to the sports performance. Nines on tops in most strength, you've got to be able to whack something far away. You've got to be able to push someone right away. You've got to be able to resist something, force something to move. There's a lot of components why strength can be really, really important when it comes to sports performance. Again, even if we look at it from a power standpoint, a rate of force development standpoint, strength is a massive component of that as well. Speed is obviously a massive component of that, but in my opinion, you can't be fast without being strong. Like, in order to absorb and produce force at that rate, you need to have a level of strength in there. And again, it's all task specific. So that doesn't generally mean that the person who is absolutely rapid on the pitch will be able to push everyone out of the way. But they will have a good strength to power to strength ratio that allows them to absorb impact from the ground and then propel themselves even forward at a slower rate. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into that, but you generally get the idea first. Even endurance athletes, I do believe, if you're someone who does running and stuff like that, having a stronger base means that you're going to be able to have a higher work capacity. You're going to be able to work a lot longer. Your body's not going to tire out as quickly as it was if it wasn't as strong. So strength has this ability to, as it increases things like work capacity, endurance, and don't get me wrong, you can still improve those things. That's why, in a way, runners can get to a really good level without doing any strength training. But I think if they have a good base of strength training with them, their performance improvements just massively goes up as well. And I think that's such a key thing with runners. And saying that, if you are someone who, and I think I mentioned this in some other podcasts as well, if you are someone who's got a really good strength foundation, you can get into running so much more easier than if you were the other way around. If you were someone who's been just used to doing endurance running all their entire life, getting into strength training is going to be quite hard because, let's admit it, running's not got a great range of motion. You kind of running in a small range. And when we're exposing to strength training and all that, we're exposing to multiple positions, different muscle lengths as well, which obviously has a different strength curve as well. So if you're someone who's already very strong in all those type of areas as well, and you've already built a capacity for being strong, that's going to have a massive carryover as well. So it allows you to be able to put yourself in different sports, maybe different situations, and exceed well into them. And going back into the sports performance thing as well, I think as well, like a lot of in-season training massively drops this when it comes into a season. Obviously, the ultimate goal of in-season is always going to be the sport. But if you're able to maintain your level of strength that you've been able to build over the off-season and maintain that and improve on that as the sport goes on, as the demand goes higher, as games go on, as fatigue start building, when it comes to the later half of the season, you will become better. You will be a lot better than the people that didn't have that base as you go on. So it not only allows you to dip into other situations, it allows you to stay in those situations for a hell of a lot longer. When it comes to general population, building a massive strength can improve so many things. Like it allows you to have more energy to move. Your ability to move as well is going to be massively increased. Like generally, if you're someone who's probably new to training, it's one of those things you just don't know what you don't know. Like you're probably not going to move very well. You're not probably going to have them intuitions that knows where your limbs are in space, so you can therefore engage that type of muscle. But if you've already got that base, you probably have a good level of understanding, like where's your rib cage, where's your pelvis when it comes to moving, how to quote unquote bias the lat. I really looked at pain when I did that. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, but I'm not. I'm okay. But again, it builds on a good quality of life. It builds on the fact that you'll probably have a higher work capacity to do everything. Everything naturally that you were doing before is going to be a hell of a lot easier for you. So therefore, it's not going to be as costly when it comes to doing them. So you're going to recover better from them because it's not going to be too much of a work from them. And you just be better off. And when it comes to longevity of life, one of the number one things that generally improves the quality of life is how strong they are and how regularly they do strength training. So if you're someone who's listening to this that wants to get into strength training, do it. Regardless if your goal is health, sports performance, it is one of the number one things that can improve all qualities and stuff. So let's do it and all that as well. And also, like I mentioned before in the body fat podcasts and stuff like that, like it's not going to be a direct thing, don't get me wrong. This is where powerlifters really come into the play of this as well. Like they're very strong. They've got a little bit on the higher side of the body fat percentages. Powerlifters, strongman, whatever you want to call them. But if you're strong, you're probably going to be training quite a bit. And if you're training quite a bit, you're probably moving quite a bit, which is probably going to have an effect on the body fat percentages that you're going to have as well. That's not a one-to-one, so don't take this away and go, oh, I'm going to be stronger, therefore I'm going to have a lower body fat percentages. But it does lower the general risk of being generally overweight, as long as obviously you look at other things, daily movement, nutrition side of it as well. Now, I've already kind of alluded into this as well, but being strong will massively reduce your chances of getting injured. Won't eliminate them. There is no such thing as exercise prevention. Oh, not exercise prevention, injury prevention. There we go. Like, you can't prevent an injury. You can reduce the chances of an injury happening, but we can't fully prevent it because there's so many things that apply into injury. Injury in itself and pain in itself is very, very complex, no matter what people tell you and all that. Like, you doing a few rows in the gym and stuff like that, is not going to stop you from getting injured if you get hit by a car. I know it's a very drastic example, but it matters. Now, what it will do for you is reduce the chances of getting injuries of a lesser scale as well. So if you are playing sports and you're in a contact sport like rugby, being strong means that you can take impacts a lot better as well. But also as well, if you do get injured, because you've got a higher base of strength before, you'll be able to recover a hell of a lot better. And we could talk about the whole stimulus thing as well. Like, if you carry on strength training while being injured, the recovery side of it gets a lot better as well, because we're increasing the tolerances to the tissues that have been injured as well. But if your body's better at absorbing impact, at absorbing force, then when it comes to tissue tolerance, you will have a bigger capacity for that as well. So again, it's just as simple, guys. Like, just get strong. Like, it really does make a massive, massive difference. And I'm not talking about powerlifting strong at all costs. Like, obviously there's things in sport that are saying, like, you don't need to be stronger than 2 times your body weight when it comes to certain exercises like squats and RDLs, which I don't really believe in. Like, the stronger you can get, the better, in my opinion. Obviously, don't get me wrong, there comes a law of diminishing returns, because the more strength you do and the actual stronger that you are, and the weights that you lift actually allows for a bigger recovery. But I do believe that just a general all of just getting stronger can have a better improvement overall. And I think if you start chasing strength from the get-go, I think it simplifies training so much. Like, I think if you're looking from a point of, and I don't always just mean gain strength means put more weight on the bar. I definitely do believe that there's a movement quality in there as well that we've got to take into consideration. Like, if you move a lot of weight, but you move like shit, it ain't going to do anything about it. We're not going to target the fibers that we want to be targeting. We're just going to be applying a lot of load to tissues that just don't want to be loaded. So there needs to be a movement quality in there as well. This is where form comes into it as well. But you'll have a clearer way of progression. And I wouldn't say strength and all that. I mean, like, the ability to hold a position for longer, the ability to get yourselves into a position better, the ability to hold off fatigue. Like, all these can come into the kind of bracket of strength. And I think that when you start focusing on strength in the beginning, it makes things a lot easier to look at progress in that kind of way. So, if in doubt, guys, get strong. Like, taking things up by consideration. But yeah, get strong, guys. Like, you have my permission to get strong. And you'll see a massive amount of improvement. Like, not stay away, but keep at an arm distance, the fancy drills, the passive modalities like the foam rolling and the stretchings and the mobility side and all that as well. That's probably another thing I didn't even mention as well. Like, strength training has a higher correlation to having a higher mobility. Like, if you look at studies and you go, what increases range of motion and in mobility, strength training is number one by a landslide. Like, you can do all the stretches in the world, all the mobility stuff in the world, But if you're not strong enough to get into that position in the first place, you will compensate. So you need to be at a good level of strength to get into those positions. Now, when I'm talking in those positions, I'm talking about arm being overhead, arm being behind you. When you're talking about unilateral movements, there needs to be a level of strength to get those muscles in them really long positions as well as in very short positions to maintain those positions. So if you're looking at it from a point of gaining mobility and becoming more quote unquote flexible, gain strength. Cool. And that's it there, guys. Really simple stuff and all that. Just build a solid base of strength first, because performance, resilience, and just long-term health will just come from it. And that's it there, guys. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the MH Performance Podcast. If you do like these episodes, make sure you give a like, a review on Spotify as well. But also message me. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any topics you guys want me to cover, please let me know. And I'll see you all in the next episode. And as always, guys, improve your performance.